Oh,
Well. You would have thought it was. Whoa, there's extra music there as well. You would have thought it's still going crazy. You would have thought it was me. You would have thought that was all my fault, but it wasn't. But I'm not saying whose fault it was. Well, my fault though. We are live, as Jason says. Big up to each and every single one of you, man. Happy New Year. Welcome into 2025. Welcome to the transfer view. Because the transfer window has opened, there's no more morning view for the whole of January because we're going to be talking about transfers every single morning because Ineos are going to get us loads of players and it's going to match the profile for what Ruben Amorim needs and it's going to change our team around. We're going to get wing backs, we're going to get 10s, we're going to get strikers, we're going to get sixes, we're going to get centre halves, keepers, the lot. So keep it locked to transfer view all through January because it's going to be busy, yeah. And we're going to sell all the deadwood as well, all of it, Owen. You know what I mean?
yeah, we're going to be, title charges on because we're going to be getting all of these players flex. 11 in. I've heard 11 in, 11 out. It may be more basically. It's going to be very, very busy. I'm thinking record spend. 500 million is probably
record numbers in Jan. Yeah,
probably. That's what we're kind of looking at. Ruben Amorim, it's everything's fine. Everything's totally fine at Manchester United. It's cool. No problem. No problem.
Exactly.
Who played at the weekend?
Yeah, someone said, "Are you ready for Sacrificial Sunday?" Mate, it's just a normal game. You go there, you do your best, and you play to win. That's it.
Yeah.
You play to win. No, we're not trolling. IXO says that these guys trolling, right? No, we got to be positive.
Yeah.
Positive, and generational window coming up. This is you got it, All Elite. You got it. This is what it is. There has been some news already. You know what I mean? Marcus Rashford's been talking. So that means he's staying and he's going to turn it around as well because he's been talking. There's also been a lot of reports about what we can and can't do in the January window in real life, not what me and Owen say. So yeah, we got a lot to talk about. Let's go straight to it though, because obviously yesterday, New Year's Day, a lot of us just kind of chilling out, getting into the new year. So we thought we'd start today fresh. But obviously the Rashford sort of thing dominated yesterday. What did he say, Owen? What has he said?
Well, this is quite
Rashford
interesting.
Confirmed. A show.
No. It wasn't. It wasn't necessarily that. So Marcus Rashford, he went on his Instagram story and he put a screen grab of a story from The Sun. I don't know who specifically it was written by. It's written by Andy. Is it?
Yeah, it says it there.
Ditton?
Martin Blackburn and Andy Ditton.
Yeah, and it was about, his future or maybe lack thereof at Manchester United. And he was holding talks allegedly with an agency. And this was going to help broker a move possibly to Saudi or possibly elsewhere. And Marcus Rashford said, quote, "Been a lot of false stories written over the past few weeks, but this is getting ridiculous. Never met with any agency and don't have any plans to." Now, whether that means, he is staying or he isn't staying or all this kind of stuff.
Everything's still the same.
Yeah, it's just one of those ones. I mean, you could maybe look into it in the part of when he says, there's been lots of false things written about me over the last few weeks. Is it a more of a sideswipe at other stories, perhaps? I don't know. But he said he's not meeting with any agency, so he's definitely staying flex. That's what it means, yeah? That's definitely no. What did you think when you saw it? When you saw that yesterday and you saw that, Rashford's been on Instagram and he's quote tweeted this article and responded to it. What did you think?
I just thought just don't say anything. Just like it's all loads of people are saying stuff. It's in January now. There's going to be a lot of noise about you now because you haven't played for 5 games. You've been out the squad for 4 of those occasions, in the squad for 1, unused sub in that one. And we're now into the situation whereby, right, let's see who comes in for you. Let's see how you get this move, what conversations happen. And while the games are going on in January, it'll be very interesting to see if he's on the bench even more as an unused sub, because then it goes back to what I was trying to get at when everyone again shot me down and nailed me to the cross. He's in it because we needed a few players the other day, but unused. So what did it really matter? Then if we go to Liverpool on Sunday, which again is a very big game, it's academy graduate, Rashford, the big players, you need them there. He ain't gonna, he definitely ain't starting. So if he's not in the squad, goes back to not being in the squad again.
Which I think is to be honest, quite
Which
highly
is probably likely. And it's just like, well, what was the point in the other day then? There was no point. There literally was no point. And again, people say, I know KG was going down the thing of like, it shows that I'll even bring these guys on ahead of you. I'm just like, well, then now that's getting petty then, isn't it? What's the point in trying to embarrass him further to make a put? We don't need to do that. He's not played for 4 games, not even been in the squad. That's the ultimate thing you can get is don't come here. Like, don't put the tracksuit on. Don't get on the team bus. Do not come here as part of the matchday squad. So for Marcus Rashford, who's the poster boy of the club, that's the biggest thing you can get. There doesn't need to be, I'll tell you what, no, bigger than that is like, let's fake him. Let's get him to put the tracksuit on. Get him to walk along the touchline, embarrass him. Then like let him do warm-ups and shuttles on the side. You're not playing. That's even more embarrassing. That's just a load of crap. Like, it's either the principles are the principles and you're not playing until you're gone, or you're not playing until maybe the window went slammed shut and there was no resolution. So you're in the squad because what do we do from now to the summer? Or you play for us. Like, I just don't understand this in between thing. But with him talking, I just thought it doesn't. What does that do? Because if you come out and say that one in the Sun's rubbish, and you're saying there's a lot of rubbish been written, well then address all of them. Then you may as well, because what are they? Are they true then? Them other ones, or are they not as worthy as your attention? Because that's a lie, but it's not. There is a bit of truth in that one, so I'll leave that one. Oh, this one I haven't met with any agencies. That's taking a piss. Like what
Yeah.
you achieve by doing that?
We didn't
try and clarify that. Put it that way.
No, and that's what's interesting too, isn't it? When it, you know, all right, this bit in the Sun of all places. Oh, the Sun writes bullshit. Oh, headline news.
Exactly.
You know, the bigger sort of headline news is when Andy Mitten's on TalkSport going, yeah, he's had issues with every manager post Fergie or since he's come in, basically. And if there was one to respond to, it'd be that one, wouldn't it? That'd be the one to respond to, going, I've known Andy for a long time. That's not true. These things are false, blah, blah, blah. I didn't respond to that one, which a lot of people that was when really people took attention to. Not really. I didn't even know about that Sun article until Marcus Rashford pointed it out, because when David De Gea is returning to Manchester United, was one of them from Neil Custis. The other one was Qatar in by October of not last year, the year before, I think it was. You know what I mean? So generally, when you see things written by that outlet, you go, it's probably not true, that one. So I'm going to give that one a pass. So for him to sort of go, you know, that's rubbish. Like you said, it's kind of, it doesn't clarify anything. It hasn't cleared anything up. You know what I mean? What was
and there's
very
no
clear,
hysteria. No one's going, I can't believe he's spoken. Also, no one really cares. Like, it's
yeah, exactly. What was crazier was, you know, when he did the interview with Henry Winter. That's pretty clarifying, isn't it? Saying you want a new challenge. So yeah, I don't know. So, but sometimes he does stuff like that. You know, sometimes he does go on social media and respond to something, and it generates a reaction. Once again, you probably would just sort of say, you know, it's when it goes back to the criticism of him before, which is people that surround him going, did he just do that off the cuff? And if he did do it off the cuff, is someone going to him going, probably shouldn't have done that, mate? It's pointless, you know? So I don't know. As far as for his future in January, I have no idea what to expect for Marcus Rashford in January.
Because you don't really know where to start in terms of what's reasonable, because we have no idea about how a deal would be constructed. There's so many facets of like a Rashford exit, right? Here's one. There's one where it's like, it doesn't do the club any good, but you just go, it's so toxic. We need to see what it's like without each other. Just go on loan somewhere for 6 months. We'll pay some of the weight. Whatever the other club won't pay, we have to subsidize. And then you end up like a Raheem Sterling vibe, or whatever we're doing with Sancho as well, where we're paying a hell of a lot of wages for players just to not be here because you just can't be here anymore. So that's option one, which is obviously not great for us, but you can't have, you talk about a declining asset, which is it's declining by the day, isn't it? Each time, well, by the game. Each time he's not in the matchday squad, he hasn't played in ages, he's not sharp, he's not this, he's not that. It's declining from when the reports were coming out that we were listening to offers, which probably pissed Rashford off, and then he decided to go and say what he said. It's been declining. It's a ticking time bomb from then, right? But if he stays under this from now to August, it's too detrimental, because when you get to August, you may as well just let him rip up the contract. There's just no value there at all. So that's option number one. Option number two is that he goes on loan with an obligation somewhere, so obviously we've heard Spain is his preferred option. I think Fabrizio was talking about that, wasn't he, early on when this happened? An Atletico or Barca can't even afford to register Dani Almo. And Real Madrid, it's just not going to go Real Madrid. So it leads you to just stay at Atletico out of proxy, right? Let's say they say, oh, there's a obligation of 50 million at the end of the season, 45 million at the end of the season. They take him now and then get the wages off the bill until then. And option three, which is not an option really, is that nobody comes in for him, mate. Like, it just can't broker a deal and he's still our player. That would be a catastrophe, that, really, if we're honest. What do you think the most likely is? Can anyone from the Prem, Owen, come and just a loan to the end of the season and we'll see what happens?
Can't rule it out. The reason I would say can't rule it out is because it's kind of similar to the Sterling thing in the summer, wasn't it? Where it was like, with a couple of days left of the window, it became obvious that he wasn't going to stay. And then for like maybe a day or so, it was like, yeah, but he was another one. He was on like 300 plus K a week, wasn't he? And everyone's like, yeah, and he's not been good last couple of seasons. And everyone knows the situation Chelsea are in. Chelsea backed against the wall and blah, blah, blah. Eventually, he still went to Arsenal, and clubs, that sort of deadline day or the sort of 48 hours before the window shuts, circumstances happen. People get injured in January, or they panic that they're not going to qualify for a certain European position, or whatever happens. And sometimes then clubs will put in like a loan and go, hey, we'll take him to the end of the season.
There is an opportunity that you didn't know.
Yeah, can't pay all the wages, And we always say, to be fair, about the January window in regards to ourselves, it's just because it's a player that we're looking possibly to move on, is there is always this pool of players that are available in January. You don't know what they're going to be until maybe a few weeks before the window opens, or sometimes during the window itself. But there's like a select pool of players that are like, these players are available in January. It's not like the summer where you can just kind of go for anyone. You can't just go for anyone in January. It doesn't really work like that. But you get these players. I think I saw one like Juventus, Danilo, something like, oh yeah, they've told him he can go in January or something. You go, well, not that United would go for him, but you know what I mean? Like, these players just become available. João Felix a couple of years ago when he was at Atletico, he's fallen out with Simeone. He's going to go on loan in January and he end up going to Chelsea. Like, these players just through the season, through circumstance, become available.
Stuff happens. They fall out with managers.
Exactly.
They've had a long-term times of long like standing injuries for the whole season. Couldn't play. I need games. Just get me out. Just, it could be done amicably. It could be done, actually, it's best that you kind of go get some minutes, or this isn't working. It does happen.
Like,
and clubs do sense unique opportunities. When clubs go, well, we're not really in the market unless there's something that, makes us go, and to a lot of teams, the Marcus Rashford, the player, the brand, they might look at, but those economics, there's not many teams in world football that are looking at those economics going, there's an opportunity. There's only an opportunity. There's only an opportunity when we go in with the bargaining chip. And this is where we're at a disadvantage. You go into Man United and you say, he don't want to be there. We know we don't want to be there. Basically, you don't want him there. Now, clearly, we can only afford to pay 35% of his wages. Now, if you could cover the rest of it, we can help you with this. And we'll give you an obligation to buy. And we've spoken to Marcus. The contract we're going to offer him when he signs in August is obviously going to be a fraction of the price. That's between him and that's not really our problem. But if it depends how much, and this is where Ineos come into it. And the great Omar Barada, and all these times when we were saying we got City's guy, he's best in class, we've got this. Well, let's see what the negotiation tactics are like, because I tell you what, to get a good deal for Man United out of this is probably impossible. We have to say that, because it's like, go and fix this then, Omar Barada. We still have to have some realism to say he's trying to flog a guy on 300 grand a week. And he's got a contract till 2028 as Rashford got, I think.
So yeah.
So he's got 4 years left. It's 2025 now, actually. So he's got 3 years left. I keep forgetting that. It's a new year, mate. But he's got basically just over 3 years left, and he's on 300 grand a week, pretty much. It might even be more than that, depending where you check. Some people say it's like 350, 340. Let's just say 300 anyway.
Yeah, it's a bit like the Sancho thing again, isn't it?
Yeah.
When he's
Really
not
no.
playing,
Is it
it's
250?
this.
Is it this?
Yeah.
So Omar Barada has a difficult job on his hands, regardless. Yeah, that's a really tough sell. So and also Man United can't expect to like with a lot of our players in this rebuild where we're ripping it up, control delete. We're gonna take loads of hits. It's just about how bad. Like what's the lesser of two evils? That's the term I'm looking for. You know, right? Do you want to lose? Do you want to pay him off all of his contract because you're just going to rip it up, or do you want to let them take that, but then you only have to pay 40% of his wages to pay him out the contract? Do you know what I mean? You have to come to an agreement, because I just looked when Arsenal did it. They had to rip up contracts, like take the big L's, rip it up. Pepe's one only got ripped up the other day after a couple of loans. They went, you can't even flog him. Just rip it up and make him a free. Just rip it up. You know, the Ozil thing, just ripped it up. Aubameyang just ripped it up. Club captain, scored the most goals in that period. Top player, ripped up. So that's the equivalent of our Rashford.
But it depends on moves in that circumstance. Like, you know, Aubameyang, for instance, would be happy to rip up his contract if he's going to Barcelona, which he was in that case. You know what I mean? It's not just a case of like Marcus Rashford's. Like some people, you try to use the example of when Ronaldo left United. Like that's a good example, and it's so not.
Because we just ripped it up.
Yeah, well, and he was happy to be like, "Oh, I'm not going to take any payment," but then also he was accepting the contract to become the highest paid player on the planet Earth. You know what I mean? So in that circumstance, you would be happy to go, "I don't care about this money I'm leaving on the table because I'm going to get a shitload more over here." You know, so it depends. It depends really what their motivations are too, isn't it? You know, sometimes players are like, no, this is, you know, football's a short career. This is my contract. This is what's owed to me. This is what I want. Sometimes it's like, it's not about the money. I don't care. I just want to play football. Sometimes they're like, I'm going to be getting more money where I'm going. I don't think Rashford will, unless he goes to Saudi. I can't think of anywhere else where he would get a better contract than what he's on right now. And to be honest, and that's not Rashford specific. That's on any player that leaves Manchester United, by the way, in January. They're not getting a better contract anywhere else. You know,
not the Man United.
They're not leveling up, you know what I mean, and getting a better deal anywhere. So that's just Manchester United's poor finances. So I don't know. The most likely thing with him, I felt like throughout all this, is that it would be a loan somewhere. I feel like it might end up being the Premier League. I don't know. I can't.
Where is it? So is that Owen? If we're being honest, if we're being completely honest, if it's in the Premier League, it means it can only be Arsenal.
But haven't they? Someone said, how many loans have they got from
Arsenal?
From Premier League clubs?
Oh, they've got too
Sterling.
many. In a minute.
What's the rule when it comes to that? Someone let us know in the chat. Because obviously they got Sterling.
Yeah, you can have more than that, can't you?
How?
What, you can't have more than one?
Premier League. Is it just Sterling they've got?
Yeah, I think you're allowed to have a couple. Neto.
4 loans per season. Oh, they should be fine then. They should be fine.
Yeah. Oh, 2 max. Neto and Sterling. Arsenal. What? Arsenal got Neto. No, because Chelsea's gone. Oh, yeah, because Neto's gone to Chelsea. Oh, the keeper. Oh, they got a second keeper called Neto. I didn't even know. Oh, because Ramsdale went. Oh, backup keeper. Never heard of him. Never heard of him. What? So
if they're saying they've got 2 and 2 max, then they might have to move things around.
Oh, right. Okay. 2 Premier League loans to other teams. 2 loans from abroad. Oh yeah, no, from Bournemouth. I didn't even realise he went Arsenal. Where was I? Didn't even realise he went there, mate. You know what I mean? Didn't even realise. Has he even played for them?
So the point being is, if you can only get 2 loans from Premier League clubs, which they've got 2, then unless, and again, I don't know if it's a case of they can like terminate one and then they bring Rashford in, or it's already complicated. It's already complicated.
I do not see where Rashford can go in the Prem. I don't. Because it's not going to be Man City. It's not going to be Liverpool. It's not going to be Chelsea. It's not going to be Spurs. And also you have to think with the top teams that I just mentioned, would they even want him? You know what I mean? Like with what's going on, and just the money that would be involved. Like they're just not going to do that. Anthony Gordon's better than him now. I don't think Newcastle fans.
Well, I don't think it's a case of whether or not people are better than them. It just might be something that they might look at. You know what I mean?
Newcastle.
Again, I
Why
look
not
at it a bit.
Chelsea?
I look at it a bit like
to replace Sancho. Imagine that.
I look at it a bit like when Sterling went to Arsenal in the summer. There wasn't really big argument being like, oh, he's better than Saka or Martinelli, really, in his current form and his age when Sterling went there. You know what I mean?
It was just to be on the. No, that's what I'm saying. His thing was be on the bench. Championship experience. Winning the big titles in the title run. Bring him in and out. He was never going to go there and be the main guy. But Rashford, exactly. In this version of himself, he's not a multiple Premier League winner going in for experience.
But he's not even in the squad anyway.
That's what I mean. That's what I'm saying. So it's like the stock of Rashford. Oh, I just can't. I cannot see where he goes in the Prem. I cannot see it. And also, what we didn't talk about, we spoke about Ineos, and we spoke about Omar Barada and what they have to do and how ruthless they have to be. What is Rashford? It's also down to Rashford. Rashford wants to get out so bad. Let's see how bad. Let's see how bad. Does whatever the rages are, I'll take that. Or, you're still a player. You still got your camp there saying, hang on a minute, Man United have frozen you out. You're not taking less money. Your contract still needs to be fulfilled. Or do they say, no, this ain't about money. You got enough of it. It's only 6 months. Did
he do like a, when Martial went to Sevilla, and I know that Lomu didn't work out for him.
No, it didn't.
But I can't. But he was at the time $250 a week, wasn't it? I can't imagine Sevilla was paying a huge chunk of that wages. Does he just take a Spanish club and just be like, well, as a club has come in, they've told us they can only do like 10% of his wages or 20% of his wages, but he just wants to get away
outside, out of mind. Yeah, and all of a sudden he's playing for fucking Valencia.
Well, or just he's playing for, he's playing in Germany. He does the Sancho. He goes to Dortmund and does 6 months there or something. He has a talk with his mate Jaden and goes, "I tell you what, go Dortmund. You'll get out of the way of everything. No one's paying attention."
Let's go clear your head. And that's what I'm saying. Like, you're so right in terms of how does Rashford see this? Does he see this as, I need some breathing room. I just need to get out of here. Different country, different surroundings, different vibe. And I'll think about the long term in the summer. I don't see how they can't sort out the long term now. This has to be a short term fix just to the summer. That's one thing I won't move on unless it's like it is Atletico where they're like, no, 5-year deal. We'll take him now. Obligation to buy in the summer. Here's 35 million, 5 million loan, 35 in the summer, something like that. Unless something like that. I just can't see how there's a long-term solution. Like Rashford's just signed this 5-year deal now.
Atleti win La Liga, and everyone goes, "See, hold that. Hold that." It'd be like
Rashford's first league title.
It'd be like when Sancho got to the Champions League final. It'd be like, "See, hold that." Yeah. Leaves and immediately wins the title. Yeah, that's what it should be.
I know, and it's like, where do you go from that? You just where do you go from that? You literally just have to say to yourself, you know what? Whatever happens when he leaves, happens. It's just that simple. It really, really is. Okay, let's get to the super chats, actually. We've got nearly 2K watching live as well, so make sure you guys... In fact, we've been slacking with the likes, actually. Because it's been so chaotic in the shit that has been Man United, and we've been so angry. We haven't even been pushing the algorithm, pushing the likes for the channel, pushing the support for the channel, which you guys always show, but... We all haven't been in the mood, have we? But I think with the transfer window upon us, a chance for a little bit of a reset, for a little bit of calm. I say calm, it's Liverpool and Arsenal next, but you get what I mean. Yeah. We need to get back to doing our basics, right? And where are we at now? We are at nearly 2K watching and only 333 likes. So again, we need to be getting to sort of 1K, but let's get to the 750s. We're at 345 now, pretty much 350. Do smash a like on the video, man. Get involved, support the channel, my people. Big up to you lot. Mark Harris says, Onana, Eric Ten Hag need arrest in crimes against football. Wow, strong. Ken Audi says, Rashford talks more than he plays. And which is true at the minute. WJ Barrett says, imagine Marcus Rashford gets drunk and then tweets. That's the only thing I could think of. It's mad to even respond to it. The son of all people. Yeah, I know.
It was early on New Year's Day for him to be drinking.
Yeah.
To be fair, if that was the case. I hope not. Yeah.
I hope not. Andil says, my New Year wish, no new players in January. 2 knee jerk. No new players. Is it knee jerk? We need a left wing, but we need something, Andil. Something. But you're saying too knee-jerk. Except United as a top 10 challenger, proper transfers in the summer, we will end up with Sporting 2.0 or rejects. Haven't learned our lesson. So Andil's saying there, don't go to get players in January, even if we can, because it is going to be a struggle anyway. Interesting. And Joe says, he doesn't say cough, cough.
Joe says cough.
He says, what's wrong with Rashi clarifying things now and again? Yeah, listen, it's his right to. It's his right to. Just my opinion on it, and Owen shared the same, I think, was just, we just didn't need it. But of course, it's his right. It's his right. It's his right to respond. It's, if he wants to do it now and again. I wasn't massively offended, Joe. I wasn't. I just, because of the situation he's in, where he's just not playing and he's on his way out, I was just like, well, just don't care.
It's like when he did the interview of Henry Winter in the first blow. When you talk about it, sometimes the pushback is, well, you're criticising him for speaking out. He should be allowed to speak. Man United done that. It's not criticising saying he's not allowed to or he can't or anything like that. It's just, I think when you get into the territory of picking specific stories and going, this isn't true, from an outlet that generally doesn't put that much true stuff out there, or quite sort of gossipy stuff out there, then people naturally will go, okay, since you're in the process of dispelling things, why don't you dispel some other things people have said or written about you? And if you're quiet about that, it's just, like you said, Flex, then it becomes a bit redundant, doesn't it? Going, all right, then what about this? And then you're not going to get an answer, do you? So yeah, I think that's probably where it's kind of just go, just get to the end of January, see what happens. Kind of thing.
And see where we get to. There have been some pieces been written. Of course, listen, this whole relegation thing with us, it's unlikely. I honestly, if I'm being honest, I don't believe we'll get relegated. But obviously, the form that we're in and the next couple of games and stuff, we could get closer to the zone, and the talks in this period of the season would intensify. So much so that the Telegraph did a piece sort of saying what it would be like if Man United did get relegated, what that means for the Adidas sponsorship, what Athletic done a piece as well. And it's like, how sustainable would Man United be? The gate receipts would probably still be fine. We'd still probably have 70 odd K at Old Trafford quite easily, I think, for a game against Plymouth at home on a Tuesday night. We would. I honestly think we would, because it'd be like when Newcastle went down. If the stadium was filled every week, the big clubs, if you're big enough, especially Man United, our support wouldn't just go. Old Trafford would be full every week. It would. That would be the thing. But that's the thing that makes the least money. The TV revenue is where it really hurts you, because charging that for the EFL,
Well, that's what they say about, that's the problem with not being in the Champions League, isn't it? It's that it's not the revenue of having, 12 or 14 extra match days or anything like that. Obviously, like you said, that's a part of it, but it's mainly the distribution side of things. The amount of people are willing to pay to watch it around the world. That's the real financing when it comes to all of it. I mean, I was watching Sky Sports News the other day, and they said there was an Opta, predictor, or it was like the
what did it say? The supercomputer.
It was all I know. It's like a percentage chance of people that will get relegated and people that win the title. I think at the moment, like Liverpool, 91% likely to win the title or something like that. And Man United to get relegated was like a 0.01 chance still, according to the Opta stats. Now, again, I don't know how they put
Man United safe, confirmed.
Yeah. I don't know how they put those together, because like you, I was watching that going, but they don't know what's going to happen. We could lose every game. That's between now and the end of the season. That's entirely possible. But yeah, it's like you and KG were saying the other day on the Flex and KG show, us getting relegated, it's very unlikely, because you just think, well, even if we did, we've had a terrible first half to the season. If we just matched that, we would be safe. You know what I mean?
Yes.
But still, like you said, it is the reason now it feels so jarring and alarming is because of the next couple of games, and also then you start just going through the calendar, and because we're so out of form, and because players are playing so bad and performances are so bad, it's just we're in that territory where we look at every game now and we're like, we're going to lose.
And you don't think you can win it, and it's and it feels like if we get to that Southampton game, because we're expected to lose against Liverpool and Arsenal, so you go, right, all right, cool. If you get to the Southampton game, you don't win at home. That's, I think, when, if we get beat by Southampton at home, that's where you go.
Well, just then, Flex. Just then, you said that, and your mouth just stayed open for a little second there. You just went. You went, if we get people that's happened at home,
That's
like
because that honestly that would be 7 losses in a row, and losing to Southampton, who right now have what 6 points, stupid like that. Like it's that's different. Like if we're honest, like if you're not winning that game, to even feel what a win feels like again after a really tough period.
Well, that's the worry with that, isn't it? That's the worry, is that
really, really wrong.
because we're going to be on that run, inevitably going into that game, we will be like, well, we haven't won for ages. Also, depending on what happens in the next couple of games too, like we wouldn't have scored for ages either as well. Like not only we're not winning, we're not scoring goals.
Shit, yeah, we didn't score against Bournemouth, Wolves, Newcastle. Won't score against Liverpool.
Yeah,
probably won't score against Arsenal.
Shit. And then you look at the. And then you look at the and the goals that we did score in those games even prior to that. So you go, right, okay, the goals we scored against Spurs. I mean, Fraser Forster gave us those goals. It wasn't like magic or anything like that. Fraser Forster, by the end of it, he was playing so shit, he was kicking the ball instead of saving it. Before that, there's the City game. How did we score the goals in that game? Well, one was a penalty and the other one was individual brilliance from Ahmad. Like, we haven't scored. I can't remember. It might be when we played Everton at Old Trafford. The last time we scored a goal, you go, that was a good team goal, that was a good move. We haven't scored a goal that was a good move.
No, the ones against Spurs don't count.
In a long time. You know what I mean? So we're not scoring goals. We're losing games. We're not cohesive at all. Like, it feels like those couple of forward steps that we did make initially under Amorim have now gone backwards. Like, we're not even putting really, feels like, good moves together now. We're just passing the ball sideways or backwards. And that's kind of it, Yeah. And the worst thing is, it's not as if we're not creating some chances in games too. Against, ironically, we lose against Newcastle 2-0. We could have got a couple in that game. We could have. We had chances. Hoyland, Casemiro, hit the post.
Yeah, we just don't look like scoring at all. Yeah.
No, you don't feel it. You don't believe it. And that's also a massive problem. And we started conceding more again too, because I think our defensively we've gone down, and Onana's not doing the saves he was doing in the first bit of the season either. So yeah,
we need that run of 3 games. Them 3 games at home, in a row in all comps. So it's Southampton, Brighton, and then Rangers. Like, just for some confidence, like, we need 3 in a row. We need it. Like, because also in the Europa League as well, by the way, like, I know it's like we're not going to win it anymore. What's the point? But we have to keep at bay there. We're in the top 8 now, and the games are running out. There's only 2 games left. So you got to make sure that in the next couple of games we stay in that. So we have to beat, and Rangers are just below us. So we have to beat them as well at home. When that's not an easy game at all, especially on a normal day. You'd say Rangers, SPL. If you're not going to their ground, you should beat Rangers or Celtic quite comfortably at your own ground. Not this version of us. You saw how difficult they were to be playing against Spurs. They're up for it, European nights, and obviously we just don't get to say that with anyone. We don't have an easy game. We don't know what that is anymore. Southampton coming for us is like, that's a massive get. Like, the atmosphere needs to be up. Like, we have to win. Like, it's massive against Southampton. That's what huge.
It'll be. It'll be that Rangers one. It'll be like it has been a lot at Old Trafford recently, which is obviously the crowd is quiet because effectively they're bored, and all you hear is the away fans in the corner going mental, going crazy, and basically, and you can tell when they're doing that, they're having a look at each other going, "I ain't bloody quiet here." Out. Like, there's nothing going on, and you can just hear all of their chants and nothing really happening from United. And again, it's because there's not a lot to cheer about, is there? Really, there's nothing to really be energized about, and that's what it'll be like. They'll be well up for it. We'll have to be, and like with any fixture right now, I have no idea what to predict. Games that we're meant to be winning. Who knows? We've seen some of our performances in the Europa League this season have not been good. Let's be honest. Even the last one against Victoria Pilsen, and I get that at the time that was kind of spun as, well, people haven't won their away in a while, and it's a difficult one. But fucking hell, like that was just the worst game to watch, wasn't it? So that's what it'll probably be against Rangers too.
Honestly, I just can't. honestly, do you see these next 2 games? Yeah. Is it just about just hurry up and lose them so we can start the rest of the season? Is that because that's how it fit? Because obviously we're set. It feels, and I'll talk for me because it's not good to talk to everyone. It feels to me inconceivable that we can get a positive result out of any of them. Well, the cup is you're out or you're not. So is it? Could we get confidence by like say we just went to if we went to Liverpool and lost 1-0 and it was like close, then we went to Arsenal and like lost on pens or some shit like that, or it was close 1-0 or something. Is that like if we could see something? Oh, we had chances then. Like so, we just need because at the moment it feels
we have
like
chances in some games, don't we? We have chances.
No, but because like what was the game? What was the Newcastle game? I know we had chances, but like you start like that, and it's like the game was kind of it just felt like you're never going to come back.
Oh, it was the game was over when we conceded in 3 minutes. Like it was,
yeah, do you see what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying. So when you see things like that, you go, it don't matter what I see after this. Actually, unless we come back and win 4-2. by playing how we're meant to play, I ain't believing nothing. The game before that,
in the Liverpool one, Flex, yeah, let's be honest. And I know that people said, well, last year we went there and people didn't think we were going to get 0-0, but still, they were not the Liverpool team that they are now. And we're also worse than we were last year. And we were bad last year, and we're also worse now. This is when I think it goes back to a little bit about, you were saying, well, maybe just for the Liverpool game, he sort of shores it up and he goes for something a little bit, different. I do think he might just be like, what's the point in that? Because we're going to lose anyway. You know what I mean? I think that's what it might be like. Yeah, I mean, we're kind of. It is a weird one because I think as United fans, maybe not so much United fans of this generation, maybe of my generation and your generation, we're used to like going into games being like, we can win every single game. It doesn't matter. Even if we're not good, we've always got a chance. We've always got that. It feels wrong, doesn't it, to be going into these games going like, we're going to lose. It's just a case of how much. And to be fair, over the last 10 years, there have been games like that. There was periods of time where we go to like the Etihad, you go, we're going to lose today. It's just a case of how much, or we're going to lose today, but we'll see what happens. A bit like, remember Jose's last game when he was at Anfield, and it was kind of the same, wasn't it? We're going to lose today. It's just a case of how much is it going to be? And then even then, for a while, it was actually 1-1. It was like, bloody hell, I can't believe it's 1-1 for a little bit. And we ended up losing the game. And do you know what it is too? If we hadn't lost 7-0 a few years ago, we wouldn't be that twitchy.
Talking about it,
but the fact that we lost 7-0, and that was good United under Erik ten Hag. Now it's like it could be anything. And this Liverpool side is very ruthless, and they scored 6 against Spurs just the other day. So who knows? Who knows?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like madness. It's one of those ones where it is, and this is an indictment of where we are, and this is very, very sad, Flex. But if we got out of the game and we lost like 2-0 or 3-0, we'd be like, you know what? If I can take that, thank you. Right, we'll go on to the next one. Let's get out of the cup and just move on. That's where we're at. That is where we're at. And it's the 2nd of January, and genuinely, the season is a write-off.
Because complete write-off.
Because we none of this. We're only X amount of points away from the top 4. None of this. Well, if we just go on a run, we have not gone on a run for months. We have not gone on a run all season. No, no. And also, by the way, if we do beat Rangers and we go through automatically in the Europa League, none of this. Well, we're just focusing on the Europa League. We don't have the capability to just focus on the Europa League. We can't do that. We're not good enough.
Fleck Bremo says, "Do you guys like my goal yesterday? Yeah, it was good. Good goal. Good goal, Fleck Bremo. Cut in on Calafiori, bottom corner. Tell you what, Arsenal fucking could have been 2-0 there. Ray fucking got to claw it back off the line. That would have been a different game. But Arsenal doing what they do, get wins." Joe Fleming says, "Owen, bro, Rashford can't dispel everything, so he's not going to go and address every story." And Akil says, "Style of play or play for players' ego." We've got the style of play. It's not working at the minute, but we have to keep going. Joe Fleming says, "KG's wild summer and Mbeumo take is looking inspired now." What did he say about Mbeumo in the summer?
Is it when maybe they would take him? To be honest, though, that one, not to put down KG's thing, but I think you could have probably said any player.
Yeah,
we'd be like, no, you know what I mean? We'd be like,
I don't remember disagreeing with him too much if you did say that. Aminor says, "Flex, please teach ADT some manners and to be humble. Both of those two things are impossible.
Yeah.
Well, one, because it's AGT, so I can't teach him how to be humble. And I can't. How can I tell him to, be humble, sat top of the Premier League with only one loss and they're killing it? What am I supposed to say?
Champions League table as well.
While I'm 14th, like Mo Salah putting up record numbers. Their manager's first few months at this. What can I possibly say?
No.
But shout out AGT. They were a preview. I'll be recording with him today as well.
The one signing they did make, by the way, they don't even need. And he might even leave.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
So, it's not going to be a great preview. I just want it to be over and done with already, just like the game, to be honest. Jason Ramon says, also, there's the international break, end of March. Forest, Newcastle, City, Wolves. We are done. Oh, is that who we have after the international break in March? Do you know what? I can't do this anymore. I can't.
We can put anyone. Yeah. We can put any because most teams are above us.
Yeah.
So most teams.
Exactly.
So whatever team you're going to say, you're gonna be like, there are only 6 teams below us. So
there's no point even. Yeah.
The majority of the people that we have our fixtures will be like, we're going to lose.
They're all above us. Angel says Flex Wagwan for our title charge. Ain't got one, mate. Ain't got one.
Championship charge, mate. Championship,
yeah. Mav359 says players' mentality. It's bad now. If you do slide into the drop zone, can they cope with the pressure? Other teams have experience of this. You never walk alone. Obviously, Liverpool fan. That's the thing. When I was talking about this other day, it's like if we did get in the relegation zone, obviously, we could say the quality of player individually, pound for pound, it's like their players are better than that. But the reason why you'd end up in that zone with players like ours is because it's all just going wrong and they can't get out of the rut. It's a confidence thing. Like, it's just a shit environment. You can't buy a win. And it does things to you. If you're a player who's not used to being there and having to fight for everything because you're literally in the bottom 3, it's a different type of fight that a lot of those players wouldn't have experienced ever in their careers.
Well, and also it feels like at the moment we're just in a death spiral, aren't we? Like, we can't, and I know obviously these players aren't good and all that kind of stuff, but like, they're also playing because we're so bad. Everything's so bad. Everyone's below everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's just, that's why it's not impossible for us to go. That's why, when KG said the other day, but these players are better than, Ipswich or Wolves. It's like, but collectively this team isn't. And this is not a new phenomenon whereby on paper, look at some of the teams that have been relegated in the past. You get their players are brilliant, and then when they do get relegated, the players leave and go elsewhere. Yuri Tielemans, maybe got relegated with Leicester. Look how people are like, "I'll have Tielemans now at Man United." But James Maddison, another one in that Leicester side, right? But as a team, it's just not working. Just isn't working. And if you get into that spiral,
it's the rut. Yeah, you can't stop it.
You can't stop it, and that's the worry.
You need a certain amount of minerals to get out of that, and as we've seen with our players. It's a valid question. Would they have the stomach for that? Going into games against, teams in and around you, games like the Southampton game. You know what I mean? Like, I know, like, they're still a bit of a way away from us, but say they were like a lot closer, and it's like, if you don't win this game, you're going to actually drop into the drop zone. Like, it comes with a different pressure.
Well, especially
City, when the games run out.
Look at City, like in obviously this season. They got into that rut too, of just like now they're going up against anyone. I know they won their last game, but you can watch them and you can feel it. Any team plays them and they go, we can beat them.
Leicester should have. Leicester should have got something out of them the other day as well.
Exactly. And if that's in their heads of not only just the people that are on the team, but on the opposition team as well, and the fans, everyone can feel it. It's this weird like psychological thing where quality and status no longer matters. Suddenly it's completely an even playing field. So if that can happen to them and Pep, whatever, of course it's happening to us for ages, but on a much bigger and grander scale because we're worse than them, So that's what happens.
Yeah, it's as simple as that. And I just think as well, when you say, when you concede goals like after 3 minutes and stuff, that's how you know the rut. That's the rut thing. And then the second one comes very, very quickly after that. Like that Newcastle game was the clearest. That's what a rut looks like. Kick off, can't string any passes together. Opposition's on you straight away. Feels like you're going to concede straight away. Goal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Second, you conceded after 3 minutes. They're all looking around. Like, this second's going to come soon. goal. Then you go, oh, this third's going to cut. And then you have to do something to stem the bleed by bringing on Cobby. But it really does make you struggle. It really, really does. Akil says, United just survived in 17th place and Dallo high five. And Joe Fleming says, go back to the flexing KG and Mbeumo. You rinse KG, LOL. Go back to the flexing KG and Mbeumo. You rinse KG. I rinse KG. I don't know. But Joe
how
Fleming
dare you, Fleck? How dare you? How dare you?
I'll go back to that flex KG. Oh, I rinsed him for saying that he wanted Mbeumo. Did I? Fair play. I shouldn't have. I was wrong. I shouldn't have done that. I'm sorry, KG. I don't remember doing that, but I shouldn't have done that, clearly, because he'd be our best player. Just for the the transfer window in general, though, I mean, it's going to be so difficult to just bring in. I just don't see it. I mean,
who knows? I mean, you would hope. Well,
maybe
maybe United can,
something, man.
What United hopefully maybe can do. You know, you saw us in the summer, and it was a bit bending of the rules, shall we say? But you know, those clubs that were close on PSR, like Forest, like Newcastle, we basically got on the phone to each other and sort of went, "Hey, we're both in a bit of a bind here. Shall we sort of buy someone from each other to sort of offset some of the rules?" Was it like Anderson, or they signed? Was it Newcastle signed? How do you say it? Fletcher Demos, the goalkeeper? Or
the keeper, yeah.
For like 40 million. And you go, I don't think it's 40 million pounds. But there might be those kind of phone calls going on between certain clubs going, right, if we did this, we did that, that would make us be able to do this and do that. Like, this is where you would hope the financial people in all of these clubs earn their money, because you have a look. What are the rules? What are the loopholes? Who can we get? What can we do? We've got a player here, Marcus Rashford. We've got other players here, whoever. We could move them on. Just it'll be interesting to see what Manchester United are doing. I mean, a bit like the Super Chat said earlier on, or if they're very sort of steadfast and they go, look, there's nothing substantive we think we can do in January, and we're just going to basically get through it, and if something comes up, then something comes up. I mean, we did see a couple of years ago, I remember in Ten Hag's first season, but it was like, nothing's going to happen in January. And we did get Weghorst and Sabitzer, and that was surprising.
It was a bit of a boost.
It was surprising. I mean, yeah, and they became quite important players, didn't they? I mean, the sort of really interesting one with that one wasn't necessarily the Weghorst one, because that was after like Ronaldo had left. But the interesting one, that one was when Ericsson got injured. There's like, he's out for a couple months, and we just got Sabitzer that quickly, and everyone went, "Oh, so you can get people, so you can get people."
They have to be exactly, and that's that's probably where KG's point is coming through. Of like, well, you just have to go and get some players. You just, and they will be short-term fixes. It is one of those ones where, of course, you can't bring in. There's no point bringing in like players who also can't play as a wing back. Like, there's no point trying to go and get someone who's basically what Dallo is, which is a fullback that can't play wing back. That's not going to help us.
If there's a wing back available on loan, if there was a left wing back available on loan, and even if like long term he's not the guy, but you can get him for 6 months,
it's not going to be long term.
You would say go get him. Go get him, because we can actually have a left wing back, which we don't have. Like, pretty much at this point, anyone, if they're a natural in that position, is an upgrade.
We have to,
because we don't have one.
Did you see Jamie Carragher's breakdown on Monday Night Football about the wing backs? Oh, okay, well, again, he's done a really good piece about it. Again, about it was, I think it might have been, I saw the clip. I don't know if it was before our game against Newcastle or after, but whichever, it's still just as relevant. And he was just basically going over the City clips when we played there, and looking at Dallo and Mazraoui and sort of their triggers of when they should be going forward and why they're not. And they're typical fullbacks, so they're not trying to be going forward. And there was a clip of Martinez was like pointing straight away, like we'd won the ball back off City in the middle, and you see Martinez saying, "Right, off you go," and then Dallo's like, "Oh shit, yeah, okay." And then then it shows us like where them two get the ball up in the final third. And like he said, they're just fullbacks, that they're not very good 1v1, which is okay. So they take the right pass to keep the ball, because you're not very good in 1v1, and just pass back. So it basically, cut a long story short, it wasn't rocket science, but just highlighting the deficiencies of like why we just have nothing. And also it's like we said, we're just playing with too many defenders now. That's
So
the issue.
Have you seen that stat? And I think this was part of it on Monday Night Football. I did see this when it's the goals that we've scored when it has been 2 fullbacks at wing back versus the goals we've scored when there's at least an attacking player at full back, and it's 0 with defensive players and then
No
X
surprise,
amount with attacking players. And to your point, because obviously we just associate, well, wing backs is just fullbacks a little bit further forward, so it would be fullbacks. It's kind of like, well, not really. Again, it is a specialist position, and yes, people can be converted into that, but they've still got to have, particularly going forward, those attacking instincts to be able to go past players, to get balls into the box, to be attacking, like you said. And
they have to turn into attackers in that point.
Yeah, and if you're just a fullback and your natural instinct isn't to do that, then you're going to be more defensive. And look, and that might be fine in certain games. You know, when you are going away to Anfield and you go, well, we're more going to be in a flat back 5, to be honest, for a lot of the game. You go, all right, that's totally fine. But in games at home where you're looking to be on the front foot, when you've got a lot of the ball, which clearly Amorim wants us to have a lot of the ball, you can't get 2/3 of the way of the pitch and just keep going backwards because you don't know what to do. You know, and it does feel like there is. When you watch us often, we do get 2/3 of the way of the pitch. Then they sort of they turn backwards because no one's really moving, or it gets quite slow, or they're afraid to take that risk, or, you know, and people start pointing at each other going, oh, you should be here, you should be doing that. And that's why I say that if there is, even on loan, a left-footed wing back, someone that can actually properly play wing back on a consistent basis, then go and get him. Even if we know in the summer, well, we're not going to sign him and we're going to get someone else permanently, go and get him, because it's better than what we've got. At least give yourself some options, particularly in those areas, you know, because I know that all this talk about, Danny Olmo on free transfer, and, you know, it's probably not going to happen, right? And then January transfer window, probably is going to be some loans. But what don't we have right now that we could get in this window, and it would be a short-term fix? Most likely would be like wing backs, you know, get a left and a right wing back. And then, because if we had people that could naturally play left and right wing back, or even if it was just a left wing back and you went, well, Amar's going to play back at right wing back more often, we'll play someone else in the 10. You go, well, we'd be better for that. We would be better for that.
Yeah, which also you probably need another 10 as well. Like, that's what I'm saying. We just need something that can, again, just stem the bleed. Like, it's not going to be perfect. It don't mean we're going to win all our games. It don't mean we're going to be fixed. You know, even one summer don't mean we're going to be fixed. Like, we're so far away from any talk of that. But but this is my point. Like, we know we're very limited in what we can bring in, and I go back to it, and I don't care if people shoot me down again. It's like, I mean, we've just got to do something in this short term. I don't know what that looks like. People go, well, what then? You shouldn't change the formation. Okay, well, if it's not the formation, then tweak the players that you're playing in it, or what?
Maybe it's personnel,
You've got to do something. Got to, because right now we are sitting ducks. And eventually, what worries me is, like you said, he's not scared to lose his job over this, and I want him to stay.
But I don't think a couple of signings are going to make us any less sitting ducks, to be honest with you.
No. Oh, no, we need to sign. Absolutely.
And also, I don't think maybe even tweaks and formation is going to make us less sitting ducks, to be honest. We're just shit.
Yeah. At some point, you got to think something can help, something can click. Like, so what? We're just going to lose every single game from now to then. We think we're going to go
every
down.
single game. We're going to do. I think we're just going to be like we were for the first half of this season, which is 6 wins in 19. Right, we're halfway through. We'll probably do about the same. Probably about the same, really. We're going to get some big defeats coming our way. Couple, like I said, but maybe 4 or 5 wins, couple of draws, be enough to keep us up. You know, we'll be like 14th or 15th. We've been to 13th, 14th, 15th all season. You know, that's where we are. You know, table settled. We're not going to go on a run, really. No. That's where we're at.
If we could just go on a little run, we'll be safe. Like, because the teams below us, like all them teams won't go on a run. So if we could just like win like 3 in a row, we'd be right.
What do you know what it'll be? There'll be a result that we didn't expect, and we'd be like, bloody hell.
Add that in. Add that. Yeah, Fulham away. Didn't think we'd win this 2-0.
Yeah.
Add that in. Because also that, like, I know this is gonna sound mad, but that will happen. That we win. Oh, it's
I don't know, Flex. I'm really done of going into games. That's why I'm not even really going to commit to it for the Southampton one, because I'm done going into games of be like, well, we should win today. I know we've been bad, but we should win today. It's like, well, I don't know.
What does that mean anymore? What does it mean? What does it mean? Yeah, we're done. Guys, we got to 623 likes, so more on the way out, guys. Let's get to Let's get to 750. Why not? It's been a big show this morning. So much to get through, and this is what the transfer views will be throughout. You know, nearly 2.5K of you watching live, and as the rumors start to intensify with Marcus Rashford and the hint of us getting anyone, will obviously be all over it. We will say now we're probably going to get linked to a lot, maybe, because you know, we need players, but at the same time, it might be a bit slow at times because we're not linked to a lot, actually, because of the money situation. So it's be really interesting to see where this goes, because we need pretty much every position.
Well, yeah, there'll be the thing when we're linked to a player, and then maybe a day later they sign somewhere else, and that will turn into Man United missed out on another player, and you go, we weren't in for him. We weren't in for them.
So buckle up, peeps. Buckle up.
Yeah.
We'll see you again. I think that's what Devil today as well. So yes, see you again tomorrow morning as well. Loads going on. We are out of it, guys. Take care. Peace.